Now that we have applied pressure to our strain gauge for 2 to 3 minutes, we are ready to remove the tape completely to see if the strain gauge has now adhered to the beam. So we're going to slowly peel it off as we check to see. There it goes. Okay, good. All is good. All right, so our strain gauge is adhering to our beam as desired. So now we're ready to start preparing our wires. I'm going to put the beam out of the way so that you can take a look at the wires. Pick up the video here. This is our spool of wire that we will use. You will want to pull out some wire about 1 meter in length, and that's how long of a wire that you will want to use. So this one's coiled up, but this is about 1 meter, so I'm going to use it. Trying to set my camera back up to my workspace so that you can see what I'm doing here. So you will also need this fun tool here for stripping your wires. So when you start with your wire, it's twirled around each other, each of the 3 wires, and so we're going to separate them as best we can a little bit here and strip the casing off of the wire. So this wire is going to use the smallest of the openings here, and it looks like it'll take off a lot, but it really doesn't. So you can start with a lot, and then when it's done stripping, it appears that it doesn't take quite off as much as you would think. So go ahead and strip all 3 of your wires here. Okay, there's that one. Last one. Black piece here. Trying to show you the gauge here. Using to strip the wire. Okay. So here's my 3 wires. Now if you want, you can twist the black and the white together a little bit. We are going to solder them, so it's not super necessary, but you can if you want. They do need to be together, and the red one is going to be off by itself. So we will do the same thing similarly for the other end. You're just going to separate the wires from each other, and then you're going to strip the ends. So make sure to do that to both ends right now. We want to do that now, as opposed to doing one side and then soldering it to our strain gauge, and then after it's been soldered, then we go back and try to strip the other ends of our wires, because that's going to put a lot of strain on that strain gauge that's not needed. So go ahead and take the time to do both ends of your wire, strip them, and get them ready to go. Now, only one of the ends are we going to solder, okay? So you don't have to do both sides. Only one of the sides do we have to solder. So I might twist just a little here to kind of keep them all together. And then we're going to start by turning on our soldering tool, letting it get warm. While it's getting warm, I am going to use the Helpful Hands tool here. It sometimes has a magnifying glass on it. It's not necessary unless you need it like me. And then it also has the peachers, the clamps here that are the Helpful Hands. So I can lift this up and give you a better view of the helpful hands here. So this is what it looks like. And I'm just going to use the clip to hold my wires while I'm soldering. Okay, so give me a second here to get everything set up. Hopefully I can get it in a good view so that way you guys can see this. Ladies, gents, females, males, giraffes, anything, all humans, all beings. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You guys can see that. So my soldering tool is heating up, and this is some tin inside a little feeding tube here. So if you've watched your soldering video, you will know that having your helping hands hold your surface that you're going to solder, and then you put your soldering tool underneath what you're wanting to solder, and then you're melting metal on top. So we're just going to try to solder these black and white wires together. There we go, looking nice. Okay, and then I also want to do it to the black ones, even though they're all together. I think I'll go ahead and solder those as well. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So if you solder them all together, then it's going to make a nice connection. Okay. So after you've done that, you can turn off your soldering tool now. We don't need it to keep remaining warm. Right, so let it cool for a second, and then you can remove it. Take a closer look at what you've just soldered. Make sure that it looks like it went all the way through. It's making a solid connection between each of the wires. I'm gonna go back to my black and white one. I feel like I didn't get all the way through. I feel like I could get a little bit better on the other side. So I'm gonna clip it back up and see if we can show you guys. It'll focus in. So it looks like they're kind of separating still here. So I flipped it over and I'm gonna do this side again. This is just to make sure that we're gonna get good contact through our strain gauge. Okay, let's put this here. Okay, much better, much better. Right, place your soldering tool in its holder and turn the machine off. Let that cool for a few seconds, and then you can remove it. And again, check to make sure that you've soldered all the way through. Wires are making a great connection, all right? When we come back, we're gonna start trying to solder it to the strain gauge itself that is connected to our beam.